Aloha everyone, Joshua Hayes, BigWaveTrading.com. Overall, Wednesday session, very constructive. Good pullback. The NASDAQ pulled back 0.19% with a little bit of a reversal off the intraday lows. Volume was much lower than the session before. The NYSE, even though volume was higher, it was still below average. And overall, a pretty contained session. Everything pretty much did exactly what I expected to. We remain range bound in all of the indexes but the NASDAQ and NASDAQ 100. But even the NASDAQ 100, because of how choppy and V-shaped the moves are, right as it breaks out to new highs, it comes back and tests that resistance level. Hopefully, old resistance becomes new support. And for all of our long positions, the market moves higher. If not, no big deal. I have hedges. I have stops. Always moving them higher when a stock works higher. And when a stock works lower, I'm moving them higher from whatever low levels are at. So no matter what, stops are always moving higher. Always ready to add hedges with the markets at new highs. But if the market decides to make new highs, then I'll decide to make more money. So either way, everything will work out in time once a trend is established. But first you got to get through the choppy periods, and we seem to be in a choppy period now. But the good news is there's still some long signals out there, so there's a lot of hope. And on that note, there are just so many biotech stocks that I was stalking for entry signals the past 2 months. They all exploded higher without me, and they just continue to explode higher. So it's a pretty solid, strong market. So even with us kind of going nowhere in the S&P 500, Dow Jones Industrial Average, and Russell 2000, some of my perfect speculator scam biotech stocks continue to do very well. So it's no surprise that the only brand new long signal for Thursday session is a biotech stock. Anaptys Bio Incorporated. You got a bullish candle over candle price bar right off the 50-day moving average. Volume heavier and above average in the session before with BOP confirmation. So this one's pretty crystal clear. This was in my perfect speculator scan only, not confirmed anywhere else. It's a over $100 stock. It does not make money. So remember what I have said and what I continue to see for the past 4 or 5 years in my perfect speculator scan. Whenever a biotech stock is in my perfect speculator scan and it's above $100 and it does not make money, you can be certain somebody is going to be buying this company at some point in the future. Hopefully it's for $200, $300 a share. We'll see. You never know. If not, I got rules. So I want to get long ANAB, limit order 116.70, the high of the day, since it's not extended. First cut loss, 110.99. Second cut loss, 103.59. Third cut loss for me, 97.91. Final cut loss, 91. So I will initially have 4 sell stops on this position, since it's a 2% larger position relative to some of the newer long positions, because I'm maxed out on capital, but there's so few signals today that I can definitely get fully invested in A and AB. But going to use 4 stops. Remember, if any of the stops start going heavier volume or BOP goes negative, I'll be moving all of my stops, or at least partial stops, higher to prevent my losses from growing. Then there's also 2 add signals, RCKT. Third signal in a row, new long signal on the 12th, add signal on the 13th, add signal on the 14th. This add signal, though, is not as strong as the other 2. BOP is going in the wrong direction, but it's still a pretty strong green. It's not like it fell, off the side of a cliff. It kind of just like rolled over down the hill. And with the green BOP, still in the overall pretty decently heavy volume. It wasn't huge, it wasn't average, but still it was heavier than like basically a down day on light volume. So, there's still some size in the buying there. And with the green BOP still pretty solid, but more importantly, that beautiful price bar. We had a hammer over hammer candle pattern yesterday. We have a hammer candle over hammer candle today, with the stock closing only 1 cent off the high of the day. So I really like the way that this chart looks. I really like these candles. Doesn't mean it's going to work, so that's why we have rules. Limit order 1891. First cut loss level 1704. Second cut loss level 1635. Final cut loss level 1579. The position's not too big now. It'll be about a 4% position, getting there about 3% probably, because I couldn't fully add to it this morning with yesterday's signal. So, but it's a heavier position than normal. So hopefully RCKT can move higher. If it's any indication of the recent biotechs, it will. And then the final ad signal, STKS. This is another ad signal. We have a third pocket pivot point signal in a row. This time, though, BOP is surging quite nicely from its recent already green and positive levels. Volume is heavier and above average than the session before. So it's a pretty good move. The only problem is that it's a little extended. As you can see here, it's slightly extended from its 20-day moving average. So you only want to use the closing price as you're good to cancel by limit order. 263 first cut loss level, 247 second cut loss level for me, 239 final cut loss signal with this ad position and total position as a whole. For the ad signal I put 235, but for me it's down here at 217. But for this ad signal on the site, I'm going to be putting 247, 239, and 235 for everyone to follow from this ad signal. But really it's 1, 2, 3, and 4 levels with the final stop at 216. And really quick, going over the sell signals, the 50% end of day sell signals, meaning that if you're an end of day only trader, meaning you use day market orders, these are 50% sell signals. If you're good to cancel stop trader like I am, this means you move half of whatever you have to today's low a day. But IMMU below the 50 on above average volume, MDGL below the 50 on above average volume, BA below the 50 on above average volume, PCMI starting to roll over on heavier volume below these lows right here, holding above this low, preventing a full sell, 50%, tight below the 50 on above average volume, and red BOP with it increasing. So that's a 50% sell signal for a stock that I've been long since all the way here. So nothing major there. You don't want to get too crazy. And then SBT, a stock I never got a position on because it missed my limit here, and I don't chase. The next day it pulled back but didn't fill, but it lost green BOP. It lost my catalyst for the long position, so I canceled my limit orders. Well, I'm glad I did, because it's a 50% end of day sell signal following today's session. If you're long, you move half your stops to 1 penny below 1372, today's low a day. OTEL 50% above average volume move below the 50, and Kura 50% above average volume move below the 20-day moving average with red BOP. And the one and only full sell signal in MIH. Following this session here, I had half my stops here, and then I had my final half here. Following that session yesterday with the above average volume confirmation sell, or the confirmation move on above average volume below the 50-day moving average with red BOP and above average volume, I moved all of my stops to 1 penny, which is actually 5 cents below 17.25 at 17.20. Intraday ripped through 17.20, knocking me out. On an end of day basis, it's closing below this low a day. So confirmation close below the 50-day moving average on above average volume and max red BOP. That is always a 100% full sell signal. And I think the long signal was here. So even if you waited, you still got and didn't take any profits anywhere along this way or have any stops here, and you waited the 100% sell signal, you're still leaving with almost a 5% gain. All right, everyone, I'll see you in the chat room in the morning on Thursday. Have a great evening.